Darkest greetings, horror, sci-fi, and beyond fans. Drew here from Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond, and we got another episode of Ramble On, where we talk about stuff outside horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. And today, what's on today's agenda is Halloween Horror Nights, because they announced all their houses. And then we're going to talk about Barbenheimer, Oppenheimer, and Barbie, the new Mission Impossible, and then the new Exorcist Believer trailer. And we have Mr. Jackson Harper back.
Howdy, y'all.
How's it going, man?
Good to be back. It's all right. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. So a couple of the housekeeping things before we get into the main topics of today. So since we're getting closer to October, that means I'm doing my, October horror movie review series. So I'm not gonna have a lot of time to do regular reviews. We'll still probably do some random ones, before then. But I gotta take some time away to, watch these movies and, record the episodes and all that stuff. So that's gonna be put on pause for right now. And the lineup is gonna be coming out in September of all the movies that I'm gonna review. So be looking forward to that. I'll probably squeeze in a Batman Mask of Phantasm review sometime in September, because that's turned 30 this year, or that's turning 30 this year. Also, one other quick thing about housekeeping is I am going to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios this year, in Orlando. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a Halloween, event that Universal does every year, when they have like different haunted houses where people jump out and scare you. And they got like different properties and original houses, and like the thing called scare zones, which you get to walk through in the middle of the park. So that's pretty cool. Jackson's trying to reserve his spot, since he worked at Universal during that time. He's trying to reserve his spot so we can hang out one of those nights that want to be there.
Yeah, it's they've made it different, the way that employees reserve their spots. Last year we could go anytime during September, and they didn't let us go at all during October. This year they've changed it up a little bit, but you have to reserve ahead of time.
Yeah,
so
crazy. But anyway,
crunch time.
Yeah. But hopefully you get to reserve one of those days.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be there. Yeah. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
guys know I'll be there October 1st and 5th. If you want to come find me, maybe you can snap a picture or something like that. So that's to be
4th and 5th, right? 4th and 5th.
Yeah, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, you said 1st and 5th.
Oh, did I say first?
Like, that would be a weird trip.
But on that note, I want to talk about some of the houses, or not all of them, but some of them, because they just announced all 10 of their houses this year, which is really cool. So the first one, and if you want to comment on some of these too, Jackson, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a Stranger Things 4 house, which was one of the first one that they announced for the big drop.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to this one. because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. So it's on top of my list for sure.
Yeah, we've talked about Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
I
You
know
know
you're
how
not.
I feel about it.
Yeah, I know you're not a big Stranger Things fan, so yeah. I don't want to imagine you would have a say in that.
Yeah. Well, but the first year I went to HHN, they had a Haunting of Hill House, and I
Hmm,
wasn't really into that show, but the house was fun. It
right.
wasn't like one of my favorites, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Hmm,
So I'm sure I'll enjoy the Stranger Things house. I just don't have much patience for the show.
yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um, and then we got a Last of Us house, which is going to be more based on the video game than the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that will be one of the scarier ones this year because I don't know if you're familiar with The Last of Us at all. I don't know if you're.
I watched the first few episodes of the show and it didn't grab me because I'm kind of tired of zombies.
Oh yeah.
Even though they were sort of different kind of zombies, I'm just
Hmm.
like, I'm over zombies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I think the reason why this is going to be one of the scariest ones because you had the thing called the clickers. Because this is actually
okay.
this is not like people, dead people coming out of the grave. This is like an infection. So like what a clicker is
Yeah.
basically these people that have been affected for a long time, and those things are
Uh-huh.
terrifying both the game and so so the fact that they're gonna have them all around um
Yeah.
this house is that's gonna mess with me. And I almost guarantee you there's gonna be some where it's gonna look like they're like I guess like attached to a wall and they're just like this like fungus all around them and one of them's gonna pop out and scare you. I almost guarantee you that's gonna happen.
They do love to pop out at HHN. It is a thing.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, but I want to go to the Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine the Stranger Things would be that scary, would be that jump heavy.
I don't know enough about the show to know. I know that, the houses are usually pretty high quality
Mm,
regardless of what the subject matter is. So I'm sure they'll figure out something cool and fun to do with it.
yeah, I honestly think it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna be immersive either way, but like,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be the least scary out of all of them. I feel like.
Yeah.
Um, and then we got a weird one. The Actresses Believer, and
Yeah.
it's gonna start September 1st, but that movie doesn't come out October 13th or until October 13th. So it's a little weird that they're doing that one.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
Yeah, but I don't know. I
But
don't
who,
know.
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go inside it or not because I don't want to get spoiled.
I mean, I don't know that it really I don't know that they're gonna spoil anything. I don't even know if Exorcist is the kind of movie you can spoil.
Yeah,
It's really hard to say at this point.
mm,
I don't know.
yeah. I honestly
So
feel like it's just gonna be a bunch of scenes that we've seen in the trailer and the advertisements.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be like a story there. Like, they're like not gonna like.
So here's what I know about HHN houses because last year, for example, they had both a Halloween anniversary
Mm,
house and they also had a double feature house that had the Black Phone and what was that, Freaky,
yeah.
that came out. And so I had seen all those movies before I did the house. So I recognized things in the house,
Mm,
but I don't know like if somebody who didn't know the movie would immediately recognize
right.
like would say, "Oh, that's going to happen in the movie," because yeah, it is really just scenes, but it takes its visual cues from the movie, if that
Right.
makes any sense. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I might not. I don't know if I'm gonna go on that one. That definitely on my lower tier.
Yeah.
Um, and then we got Universal Monsters Unmasked, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
they had a different Universal Monsters house last year, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but this one's
Yeah.
going to be set in Paris, and we're going to get the Phantom of the Opera, Quasimodo, the Invisible Man, and um, who else we're going to get? Oh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, see the one last year was Dracula, Frankenstein, and Wolfman.
Yeah.
And that was, or no, Dracula, Wolfman, and the Mummy. Not
Right.
Frankenstein wasn't in there. It was Dracula, Wolfman, and the Mummy, and it was set in like a sort of Egyptian tomb. It was cool.
Well,
I really enjoyed that one.
That one was they split the story between
They did
the Hollywood one and the Orlando one.
but it was like a battle among all three of the characters, okay. And like depending on which time you went through, like a different character won.
Oh, cool.
So it would have like, Dracula holding up the Wolfman's head at the end, or the Mummy holding up Dracula's head.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, I think it's cool that they're doing like the lesser, not necessarily lesser known, but not like the big tiers like a Frankenstein or a Dracula.
Yeah. And of course, my favorite is of the movies of all those old Universal movies is probably the Invisible Man. So I'm always excited.
Really? I thought you were going to say the
Wolf Invisible. I love the Wolf Man, but I think the Invisible Man is a better movie.
Oh, okay. I love the original Wolf Man.
That one I like because that was the first one I saw, and I really love werewolf stuff. But as far as like being a really good, like suspenseful horror movie, I think The Invisible Man is a little better. I think then The Wolf Man is fun, but it's campy. Whereas the Invisible Man is like genuinely like technically impressive.
Yeah,
just the effects and stuff they were able to pull off.
Yeah, it's still kind of impressive now. You can totally see the outline of Claude.
Yeah,
but I mean, you gotta remember at the time period, like
the fact that they could do that in the 30s is pretty amazing, and that's why I think it's a better movie.
Well,
Plus, you get into his head a little bit better, I think, than you do with Lawrence Talbot.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that Invisible Man like a horror movie. Like it's probably like the least scary. Like I could not.
I guess it's more of like a sci-fi thriller, but it's got some pretty horrifying stuff in it. Yeah, it does have some funny stuff in it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the funniest one for sure.
It's got some, because Claude Rains, he's going to 11 in that movie. So,
and I didn't see that one until much later, but like, so I knew Claude Rains as Larry Talbot's father and the Wolfman. So so kind of like this, this kind of very kind of snooty, not snooty, but kind of like well put together, like kind of stuck up. That's I keep saying bad terms for this. Very proper, kind of British.
Yes.
And then he's playing
he's very aristocratic.
A bit aristocratic,
Yeah.
Kind of put together. And he's like a total like man-child in The Invisible Man. So that's really
he's completely lost his mind in that movie. Yeah.
So that's really cool. That they're doing like the lesser known ones, and even like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is thrown in the mix because technically Universal has never made a solo Jekyll and Hyde movie. They did Abbott and Costello meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but they never done it by itself.
So, but I mean, there's been a lot of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movies, but none of them have been made by Universal.
Nope.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, fun fact, Drew Barrymore's it's either her grandfather or her great grandfather, John Barrymore.
Yeah.
It was one of the first screen rides. Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So we literally rambled on about Universal Monsters, but that's the next one I want to talk about, this is probably maybe between this one and the next one I'm going to talk about, is Yeti campground kills.
I love Yeti stuff, so
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one's gonna be pretty cool. I think that one's gonna be more funny. I feel like it's gonna be a little.
Yeah, they always have one or two that are more of like, a little bit more dark comedy in the
Mm,
mix. So that sounds, yeah.
yeah, I feel like between this one and Stranger Things 4, I think these will be like the least scary ones.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now. They've got a dragon one. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, the Dueling Dragons. I don't know how they're gonna translate that kind of. That was like a roller coaster.
They've got like a circus freak show one.
Mm.
Huh. Okay. Something with music. I don't know.
Oh, the
And
Darkest
then,
Deal.
yeah, the
Yeah,
darkest deal.
I think out of all the original ones, that's the one I'm most curious about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of
But
like
like
the blues.
the original ones are usually like my favorite ones.
Mm.
Cause like last year they had one, I can't, it was called like Winter's Wharf or something like that.
Wait, just
And it
wait.
was like a lost, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It was like a lost at sea kind of thing. And they built like the partial hull of a ship in
yeah.
one of the houses. And it was really like visually gorgeous. So that one was cool. They had like a 1920s speakeasy like coven one. They
Oh,
had one where it was just like a bunch of like bug grossness.
yeah.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. And then my one of my favorite ones from last year is one nobody talks about, and I can't remember what it was called.
The Weekend.
No, that one was good, but they had one that was like a post-apocalyptic subway.
Oh, I don't remember hearing about that one.
It was called like something of destruction. I can't
Hmm.
remember. It was cool. It was
I'll
just
tell you
like
the
visually
one.
cool.
I'll tell you the one that, or two, and I think it was in the same year that I was really ticked off that I did not go through was Ghostbusters and Killer Clowns. I wish I would have gone that
Yeah, I
year.
wasn't there that year. I was there for the Beetlejuice house two
Ooh,
years ago. That was a lot of fun because
yeah.
that one again was more of a comedic one. But
Mm.
they had a guy playing Beetlejuice like at the entrance to the house,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
was
they
like
do that sometimes.
standing above the crowd and like roasting people in the crowd, like
Mm.
in full character, and it was really good.
It would be really funny if, like, just one of those days, just some random day during the event, like they actually got Michael Keaton dressed up as Beetlejuice again to do that.
I mean,
That would be
stuff like that has happened. One year for they got Johnny Depp at Disney to play Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
yeah, yeah. I remember they did that
So
with the Terminator, at like a wax museum, like that they dressed up Arnold.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw the Arnold documentary on Netflix, and they had a clip of that where he was
Oh, that's
pretending to be
awesome.
the wax dummy. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Darkest Deal looks real interesting because it's kind of like a blues, kind of selling your soul to the devil kind of thing.
yeah,
I figured
that
there's gonna be
sounds
like a
fun.
lot of like blues music and
Yeah,
like Delta blues, like Robert Johnson
uh huh.
kind of thing. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I think it's interesting because like I feel like they do great with both kind of houses, like the more like the one based off of IP or the original ones,
Uh huh.
because they're all kind of immersive.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm excited for the Stranger Things one, even though it'd probably just be like scenes from that season, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. So like to be
Yeah.
part of to be surrounded by that would be awesome. It's
Uh
gonna be
huh.
as a fan of that series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then the next, are we gonna say something?
Well, I was just gonna add one more. Like last year, the Halloween house. It was an okay house. It sort of just did scenes from the movie,
Mm.
but then the final room was like the scariest thing
Oh,
at HHN last year
I'm gonna look that up.
because you walk into the final room and it was just like you're surrounded by 20 Michael Myers.
Oh,
And some of them were mannequins and
mm,
some of them weren't. And you never knew which one was going to jump out at you.
that would freak me
And there
out.
were mirrors and stuff all around you too.
How
So it
long
looked
was
like
it?
there were even, it was really terrifying.
How long was that room? Like, how long did it take you to
It
get
was
there?
just one room. Like it took you about, probably 15, 20 seconds to get from one side of the room to the other. But just every time you went through it, you never knew which Michael was going to jump out at you.
Oh God, that would get the longest 15 to 20 minutes ever for me.
Yeah. Seconds, not even minutes.
Yeah. And then the last one I want to talk about, this is probably going to be like the weirdest one. It's called Blood Moon Dark Offerings, and about this cult that worships the moon. So that's to be kind of an interesting.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Like, so folk horror kind of stuff.
yeah. What the
I'm
fuck?
down with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Fear of God just did their folk horror.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually watched all those movies.
I
And that
didn't watch any of them yet. I need to watch them.
yeah,
I love folk horror, but
I didn't watch the last one. You'll Never Be
mm,
Alone. I tried to. I just wasn't into it at all.
okay. I've heard nothing but good things about that one.
Yeah, I
So
figured it's one of those movies like The Witch where you have to be in a certain mindset to watch it.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, plus
I
the
love The
subtitles.
Witch. So
I hate subtitles.
well, that's just an acquired thing. The more movies you watch that have subtitles, the easier it gets to watch
Oh,
movies with
really?
subtitles. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just kind of have to make yourself get into that
Hmm.
that frame of mind until you see enough of those movies, and then by the time you've seen enough movies where you have to read the subtitles, you barely even notice it
Okay,
anymore.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was HHN. I'm definitely excited to go for my first year.
Yeah.
Do you have any like tips for somebody for beginner?
Well, for one thing, definitely don't miss the show. They do a show called like, oh, what's it called? Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's basically like a fire show,
Ooh.
but it's like weird and kind of kinky. And it's got good music.
Like
It's
kinky like
got
in a sexual way or like kinky in
like, oh yes, very
oh
much so. It's got people in like leather bondage gear and stuff, and they're dancing and they're eating fire and they're swinging from the ceiling and like but it also has like kind of a magic element to
mm,
it. Like they do some sort of illusions and stuff like that. It's really cool. Uh, and they do it, I think they do it twice a night during
mm,
HHN. But yeah, a lot of people, I don't think they realize that the show is there. Don't ever skip the show. The show
mm.
is fun. Other than that, let me think.
Be prepared to get jumped at a lot.
Yes, be prepared to be jumped at. You're going to get jumped at the whole time. Every time you walk through a scare zone, somebody's going to be like, they're going to pretend to ignore you. And
Mm,
then the last second, they're going to jump out at you and try to scare you.
okay. Yeah, I
So
did get
just,
used to that because
and
see that wouldn't bother
my way of,
going to the house is the thing that freaks me out. It's gonna freak me out because it'd be dark and disoriented. And there's
yeah,
gonna be monsters around every corner jumping at you.
every corner, every single corner. Yes. But yeah, then sometimes you'll just be walking through the park and you'll get into a scare zone and they're just everywhere. They're just surrounding you. There's also they have these little booths that they put like fake leaves and stuff on top of and they'll wait in the booths
Oh
and
God.
jump out of a little doorway to get you.
So watch out for roofs with leaves on them.
Yeah, anytime you see little booths on the side of the street, just know there could be somebody waiting in there to get you.
Okay.
My way of reacting to when they do this, and I'm not a super jumpy person anyway, every once in a while
Yeah.
somebody gets me if I'm really not ready for it. But I can sort of always tell when
Mm,
somebody's thinking about jumping out at me. And I just like to smile and wave at them because, you
Smile
know,
away, boys.
they're just
Smile
doing their
away.
job. They're just trying to make you happy
Yeah,
by scaring you. And I'm just like, hi.
yeah,
That's my way of reacting to the people,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
don't know if they like that or not.
Dude, I tell you what, I think one or two things are gonna happen when I go through my first like truly scary house.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna love it and want to go do another one, or I'm just gonna be so freaked out that I'm like, yeah, we can go
Mm,
home now, Dad. Cause my dad's yelling with me.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably do like one of the least or scary ones, like a Stranger Things or like Universal Monsters or Yeti, to kind of ease me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the Last of Us one. I don't know if I want to do that one. Like I know it's immersive, but those freaking clickers, I hate them so much. I fucking hate those clickers so much. And one of my favorite things I've ever done in a video game was in Last of Us 2, you get a flamethrower and you get to torch those damn clickers. It was so much fun. I felt like freaking Ripley from Aliens.
Well, that's like in see, so I've never played Last of Us, but back in high school I used to play the Resident Evil games.
Ooh.
And the ones from that were the lickers. They
Okay.
were the ones that were like on all fours and they had long tongues.
Mhm.
And those were infuriating
Yeah.
because they could crawl on the ceiling and jump down on you.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
But yeah.
But anyway, we took a lot of time talking about Halloween Horror Nights. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's cool. But it's announced and everybody, it's decided for that, including me. Um, so let's get down to the next topic, which is
Okay.
Barbenheimer. Which
Barbenheimer.
the fact that Christopher Nolan's new movie, Oppenheimer, about the atomic bomb, and Greta Gerwig's new movie, Barbie, came out on the same day.
Yep.
Oh, which is cool. Crazy.
And created like a cultural moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's great. Like all the memes. You got people like doing double features. I did a double feature of
Yeah.
both of them. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, it's like, and they both made a lot of money. Like Barbie's made more money so far.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I knew it was.
yeah, of course, it's a much more sort of broadly accessible
Mhm.
kind of thing. And, you know,
Though I've heard
Oppenheimer
Barbie
is a
really wants.
3 hour, very serious, like biopic about
Yeah.
the the birth of the atomic age.
Yeah. Though I've
But
heard Barbie is pretty raunchy in some of the jokes.
it's definitely got some of that in there, and it's got a serious streak to it. Like it definitely has things on its mind. It's got ideas that it's exploring, but it does it in such a light, fluffy, easy to watch
Mhm.
package, you know.
Yeah. Now I did go see Oppenheimer because
Yeah.
it's Christopher Nolan. You got to go to the new Nolan movie in the theater.
I haven't missed a Nolan movie in the theater since
Yeah,
2002.
and
So yeah.
that was our first episode was our top by Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah, then
So
yeah, and our relationship just blossomed from there. I thought this guy's a pretty good guy, pretty cool guy. He knows what he's talking about. I think what I like about what you bring to this show is that like you bring in a lot of trivia, which I like.
I do love me some trivia.
Yeah, I do
I
too,
like
but
to know all the little crazy details of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like Eric, since he's in the movie or the video kind of industry, it's working
Yeah.
for PBS, like he kind of knows all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So yeah, um really liked Oppenheimer. I thought Oppenheimer was it was definitely Nolanly with him telling the story out of order,
Uh-huh.
kind of playing with
Yeah.
time, which kind of messed with me quite a bit. I will say the one thing that I did not like in this movie, and he's been doing this for like his last few movies, is that his music track and his soundtrack, it put the volume of it is way higher
Yes.
dialogue track. I can barely hear what anybody was saying. And this is a movie,
Yeah.
this is a talking movie. This isn't a
Yes.
spectacle movie like Interstellar or Inception or Dark Knight or whatever. This is very much a talking movie. And I can barely hear
Yeah.
what anybody was saying like half the time.
I
Maybe
had the same problem. Yeah. It's one of those like I wish I could have had the subtitles on.
yeah. I'll
Because
probably
it's not only that they're talking a lot, it's that they're talking about concepts that I don't understand. Because I am not a sciencey kind of guy.
right.
I can understand feelings and I can understand like
Mm,
ideas and emotions, but I can't like when you start talking about like all this really hard science, I am going to get lost in it. So the fact that I couldn't understand what they were saying literally all the time was sort of frustrating for me, but I still liked the movie. Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, I didn't like the explosion, like when they finally got to the explosion. I thought that was great. And I like
Yeah.
how they didn't um like do it like you normally would see in an explosion.
Yeah.
With all these when it's big and grand and you got all these white spots, like he really got close in there.
Yeah. Because it's supposed to look like you're on the surface of the sun.
Mhm. Yeah, so I thought that was real neat how
Uh
they
huh.
the acting was great all across the board, especially from
Oh, yeah.
Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. And I
Yeah.
didn't even see Tony Stark in Downey's character.
No, it's such a different type of character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say there's one part, probably his last scene when you're kind of learning why he's trying to get Oppenheimer in trouble.
Uh
With
huh.
with his whole history, with the Communist Party. Um,
Uh huh.
he kind of gives his that he kind of goes kind of big and animated, kind of like Tony Stark. But that's the only time
Yeah.
where it kind of broke it for me. But the whole movie, like it was, he became that character.
Yeah. And it's so good to see Robert Downey Jr. doing something different for what, like, for for the past 15 years, he's been stuck in Tony Stark mode. Even when he's playing like Sherlock Holmes, he's still pretty much playing Tony Stark, just with a different accent.
Right? Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I was just like, oh yeah, he's actually a really good actor. I was so happy that he
Mhm.
was playing like a completely different type of character in this
Oh
movie.
yeah, for sure. Um, and then I liked how they got into I guess sort of like the trauma that Oppenheimer went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that because I'll tell you what, because I think like right in the middle of the movie, I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't get to the testing scene yet.
Uh
So I'm like, okay, I want to watch the bomb go off.
huh.
Yeah, so then I'll go to the bathroom. So I sat there for like an hour, for a solid hour, waiting for that part to come up in the movie. Um, and then it finally did, of course. And then I went to the bathroom, came back, and then it got to the part when they announced or when everybody finds out that they bombed Japan, and then he goes through all the trauma, and I thought that was very harrowing for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
It's crazy to think like, you think about this we go into this movie, you're like, oh, the climax of the movie is going to be them testing the bomb. But no, there's like a whole other hour of stuff.
yeah,
So,
yeah, the climax of the
I'd be
movie
really
is a courtroom drama, really.
yeah, I'd be really interested to read the book it's based on. It's
Mm,
based on a book called American Prometheus. And I might have to download that. Apparently, it's a very long book. It's like a
mm.
700-page book or something like that. But it won a Pulitzer back in 2005 when it came out.
Oh, speaking of
So,
that,
yeah.
I did start to read. I am starting to read Calvin and Clay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's it's pretty good so far. I haven't got super deep into it. I'm still in this stuff in Prague.
Yeah. So okay, let me just like set you up there. That stuff was kind of a slog for me to get through.
Okay.
Once you get to the characters Cavalier and Clay actually
Mm.
meeting and forming their relationship, the book takes off. But
Yeah.
yeah, it does. There is a lot of setup because they got to get all these pieces in place
Yeah,
for
because
the
they have
rest
that
of the story.
Bloom guy, and then they have to like
Yeah,
find this golem.
yeah,
I know it's like a creature in Jewish mythology. It's
yes. So I had trouble with that. In fact, I started the book, read through a bunch of that stuff,
mm,
put the book down for like a couple years, and
mm,
then when I finally picked it back up again, I started from the beginning and read
mm.
through. And by that point, I was like, okay, I just got to get through this and get to the main part of the story.
Yeah,
And once you do get to the main part of the story, it is enthralling.
yeah.
So
I figured as much. Um, Hopefully, I'm towards the end of that. The kind of slog part of it.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Oppenheimer was pretty cool. Was it like I said was good. I will say the one thing that I really did like was how they with the book that this is based upon. It's called the American Prometheus. It
Hmm.
makes sense because that's a tale in Greek mythology
Yeah.
where Prometheus basically stole from the gods,
Hmm.
and now he's being punished for it for eternity.
Yeah.
Um, that's what Oppenheimer did. He basically played God by making the death machine, and now you have
Yeah.
the mental torture of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil anything or too much, but that last shot at the end,
Oh, it's haunting.
yeah,
Absolutely haunting. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know, and I might be recommending you a new movie podcast, but there is one I listen to every Friday called Real Blend.
Okay. I've
Yeah,
never listened to that one.
it's basically some movie journalists from different, I guess like not newspaper but different networks, and
Uh
they
huh.
come together and they talk about like the big releases, and they will sometimes sit down
Okay.
with the creators of whatever movies coming out
Yeah.
from week to week, and they got Nolan recently and Greta Gerwig
Oh
recently,
wow.
and they
Yeah.
talk about movies beyond like, hey, how do you like to work with this person, or
Hmm.
was this a fun scene to shoot? They talk about like the actual movie making part of it, like the real movie,
Yeah.
the nitty gritty. um
Okay.
I
That
like.
sounds similar to I listened to one called The Big Picture,
Mm-hmm.
which is on the Ringer network, and that sounds very similar. Because I
Okay.
was just listening, they were doing an episode. They released it a couple days ago, but it's their deep dive on Barbie, and they interviewed Greta Gerwig,
Yeah, that's
and they
cool.
really got into like her sort of motivations and her
Mhm.
thoughts behind her choices making that movie. So,
Right. Cool. And what I thought was interesting was I think it was Kevin McCarthy, who one of the journalists that's on this show, Roblin, when he
mm-hmm.
was talking about Oppenheimer, he said, "Oh no, no, he was said I think he talked to Matt Damon or one of the people that worked on this movie, one of the actors, and he said, and basically whatever actor this was, basically said, like, I'm surprised more people aren't worried about this like every day.
Yeah,
Because this is because once you hit that button to launch that nuke or whatever or bomb or whatever it is,
it's scary. I mean, the only way you can not be worried about it is just don't think about it too much.
but like that doesn't
Because
matter because like
no, it
it
doesn't.
will
It
happen
doesn't.
regardless.
It's completely out of your control. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he definitely um he definitely released a beast down into the world, and I'm not gonna like completely knock that
Yeah.
because I don't. I think he probably let Mbison take over like logistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dangers of science. Now, I'm not here to be anti-science because I'm not. I believe that science is like, you know, one of our greatest assets, one of our greatest resources, and
Mm,
it is absolutely essential for the betterment of mankind. But it could also destroy us.
right, for sure.
Like, and that's what the movie's about when you break it down to the most basic, you know, idea behind it. It's like, and this, you know, you have a character like Oppenheimer, and he's not really, he doesn't want to create a weapon. He just wants to see how far he can take the
Mm,
science because he loves the theory behind it. It just so happens that the theory leads him down this path, you know, after the government recruits him, and he creates, you know, the most devastating weapon the world has
yeah.
ever seen.
And he definitely, I mean, of course, this is a fictional character, who I'm about to mention.
Yeah.
He's very much like John Hammett in a way from Jurassic Park. I know I
Oh
see
yeah, 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 yeah.
the favorite movie of all time, but who cares? Um, he's very much like John Hammett in the fact that like he
Yeah.
lets Mbison um
Yeah.
cloud his better judgment.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Hmm.
Because you watch a movie like Jurassic Park or Frankenstein or Oppenheimer, where these people are trying so desperately to change the world, but it ends up backfiring on them. You watch
Hmm.
kind of stories, and you think to yourself, "Yeah, that they're very stupid to be doing this. Well, this is
Yeah.
turn out." But you gotta think if you had that opportunity, if you were in that position where you can change the world with something that actually could ultimately destroy people or be devastating towards people, would you do it? Would you
I
let
would.
Disney
I
cloud
like to think
a
that
better
I
judgment?
wouldn't,
So I'm just
but
saying in general. I'm not saying you specifically, Jackson
I
Harper, but I'm
mean,
just saying it's in general.
yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know
Hmm.
what you're gonna do until you're faced with the actual decision.
Right.
And you got to think that he's in this situation where he thinks that he is in a race
Hmm.
against the Nazis,
Oh
and
yeah.
that if he doesn't, and he is very vehemently against the Nazis because he's a Jewish person and he
Right.
knows what they're doing, and so he's, you got to think about that facet of it. It's like
Right.
he's got in his head, if we don't build this, then the Nazis might, and you know what they're going to do with it.
Mm. Oh,
Like, yeah.
yeah. We're over there.
So it's kind of a, it's an impossible decision that you have to make in that situation.
Oh yeah. So I think what I'm trying to say here is I need to watch Oppenheimer again with the subtitles.
Yes, I would love to see it once it finally hits streaming and watch it with the subtitles on
And
because
I honestly feel like that's what a lot of Nolan movies are designed for, to watch them over and over again, even though they're long
yeah.
and
Well,
talky.
this one particularly is dense. You
Yeah.
know, the the movies people keep comparing it to is something like JFK. I don't know if
Mm.
you've ever seen JFK.
Yeah, I
Talk
heard of
about a dense, complicated movie.
mm.
Like you have to watch that multiple times to understand
Oh,
even a fraction of
speaking of
what's
that,
going
did
on.
you see that Oliver Stone land video that I sent you or that I told you about for the Ben Stiller show?
Oh no, I forgot to watch that. I need to watch
Yeah,
that.
it's really funny. It's supposed to be like
Yeah.
Universal Studios, but like based around Oliver Stone movies, and it's like Ben Stiller dressed up as Oliver Stone, and like giving him a tour of his theme park, and the whole time he's like giving his real like radical like political beliefs. It's pretty funny. I'm surprised they didn't
Oliver Stone, man.
I'm surprised they didn't have a Scarface Right there.
Scarface. I've never seen Scarface.
I've seen Scarface.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking love Scarface.
Of course, Oliver Stone wrote that, but he didn't direct it.
Right, but it's still Oliver
Yeah.
Stone.
Yeah, it's still got, I guess it's got a lot of him in it. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I've never been interested in gangster movies. They just
Oh, I
don't
love
do it for
gangster
me.
movies.
I just
I
don't
need to
like
watch
them.
more of them. I just like crime movies. Crime movies are kind of my thing.
Yeah, see, I don't care about crime movies.
Yeah. But is there anything you want to say more about Oppenheimer or Barbie?
I mean, we didn't really talk about Barbie because you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I really enjoyed myself watching it.
Mm,
There's definitely moments where I got fairly emotional. Um, I love Greta Gerwig.
mm.
I'm so excited that she's doing the Narnia
Oh,
franchise next.
interesting.
Yeah, she signed on to reboot the Narnia franchise. I think for Netflix.
Right.
So I'm I don't know how she's gonna
Mm,
handle it, but I'm excited to see because I love her work. She's
right.
fantastic, and Margot Robbie is giving like an Oscar level performance in this
Yeah.
movie. So is Ryan Gosling.
Mm,
It's also, and she's not in the marketing a lot, but America Ferrera is in the movie
mm,
as like kind of the third lead, and she's
right.
doing really great work. But it's a big, splashy,
Mm,
colorful like comedy. It's a musical.
right.
It's
Yeah.
got some
Yeah.
pretty fun musical numbers in it,
Yeah. I
and
definitely.
it's got some serious things on its mind too.
Yeah. I think from what I'm hearing, I think definitely Margot Robbie might get nominated. I think for
It's
sure.
very possible.
Yeah, I think for, and again, I saw Oppenheimer over Barbie, but I think for sure Cillian Murphy. Is it Cillian Murphy or Killian Murphy?
It's Killian Murphy.
Okay, I think Killian Murphy and RBJ are gonna get nominated for sure.
I think they're pretty much locks at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who would you say over? Like, who do you think has a better chance between those two actors?
I mean, Killian Murphy is carrying the movie.
Yeah, and I think he had a.
I
Well, for one, he looks like Oppenheimer, and for two, he's like, could I know? Could people say like acting really comes from your eyes, or
mhm.
you give your eye remote?
He
You're
has got
impressive.
he's got the biggest bluest eyes of any person who's
Yeah.
ever lived.
So like, I just remember seeing him in like the first couple of trailers. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna win the Oscar just because of those eyes. Because he
He's
looks like a man obsessed.
yeah, he's fantastic, and the whole cast is really great.
Mm,
Uh, as usual with Nolan, the women get the short shrift.
right.
Emily Blunt and Florence Pugh both doing really great work, but they're just sidelined by the
Oh,
script.
speaking of Florence Pugh,
Um,
I remember somebody said that there's a sex scene in this movie that Nolan can only do. And I'm like, what does that mean? And then it happened. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
yeah,
and it's like it's not a normal thing for Nolan to have in his movies.
yeah,
You know, he is not a sexy director.
yeah. So yeah, I
But
was, I
so
was
that was very
curious.
sort of jarring when it happened. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
they're
that's
boobs. Like,
we're in this movie now." Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
mhm.
yeah. So seeing in IMAX because of that. No, I'm kidding. Um, so a couple more questions and then we'll move on to Mission Impossible 7.
Right?
Where does Barbenheimer rank in your Nolan movies? Like, is it one of your
Um,
favorites, kind of middle of the road, or not one of your favorites?
it's like in the middle tier somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think out of 12 movies, I think it ranks like number 8. So it's right at the bottom of the middle tier. It's right behind like Dunkirk and Inception, but it's still ahead of his first and
Mm,
third Batman movies.
okay.
But it is not top tier. I still really like the movie. Maybe when I go back to it and reassess it, it could move up, it could move down. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's not my favorite Nolan. I know that some people are really digging this movie. Like
Mm,
some of the critics that I listen to and stuff, like they're like, this is my favorite Nolan movie. This is my favorite movie of the year. And it's not that for me, but still
yeah.
very strong.
Um, and one more thing. I know there's been a lot of talk about Nolan, possibly or people wanting Nolan to direct a James Bond movie. And I even think he talked to Barbara Broccoli and then Michael Wilson, who produces those movies and are the head of Eon Production. Do you think it's likely, or how likely do you think Nolan will direct a 007?
Ah, I think if he's got some spare time between projects, he might throw
Yeah.
that franchise a bone. But I mean, I think it's become increasingly clear ever since he's wrapped up his Batman trilogy, he's not interested in doing franchise films.
Um, I beg to differ.
I mean,
I think I've heard he really wants to do it. I think it's a matter.
really?
Yeah, yeah. From all the sources that I hear that I'm hearing from, I think he really wants to do it. It is a matter of creative differences, like because Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli has their vision and version of Bond that they want to do, that they want to,
Yeah.
and Nolan has his version of Bond, so they can
Oh, okay.
agreement.
Yeah, I just, you know,
It's two
Bond
parties.
is not a franchise that I care about very much, so I'd rather just see him do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I like them enough. I mean, they're not my favorite. I mean,
It's fine sometimes.
yeah. I mean, the character is problematic for sure.
Yeah.
I think they kind of remedied it a little bit, especially in the Daniel Craig era, but still, like,
You know what I'd like to see Christopher Nolan do? Like an old historical kind of epic. Like
ooh,
something with like medieval knights or something like that.
ooh,
I would love to see something like that.
like a
Like
last.
give him King Arthur. Give him King Arthur.
That'd
They've
be
tried to
cool.
do King Arthur over and over and over again. Let Christopher Nolan do King Arthur and maybe he'd get it right.
Yeah, because yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's really two parties that will not budge, or that it's hard to
Yeah.
budge creatively. So yeah, I don't. I mean, like, I honestly feel like if Broccoli and Wilson can like be open to their interpretation of Bond, um,
Yeah.
because there's no way in hell I want to see Nolan like compromise his vision a whole lot. Like I
Right.
don't see that. And nothing against like the fine folks running Eon Productions, like nothing against them, but it no like you know what you're gonna get from a Nolan movie. So yeah, if
Yeah.
they ruin the budge with Nolan or work with Nolan to get his vision of a James Bond movie, because he loves these movies from what I hear.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, he's had plenty. I mean, the third act of Inception is basically a James Bond
Mhm.
movie, or the beginning of Tenet, or actually several sequences in Tenet have a James Bond quality with a
Mhm.
little sci-fi twist to it, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I really want him. I want him to do it for sure. I just want to see what that looks like. I really want him to do like a straight up horror movie of some kind.
I mean, I'm always interested to
Mm,
see what happens when you give an established director like a horror movie,
mm.
but I don't know that he'd be interested.
I
He
think
doesn't really do that kind of stuff.
yeah, I
I
think
mean,
he'll do it differently.
yeah, I mean, obviously he's somebody who loves him some Stanley Kubrick. Um, and so maybe it would have more of like a Shining kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, well, I compare. I would like. I think Nolan's the closest thing we have to a Kubrick nowadays because they both have distinct styles, but they both do different genres with that style.
Well, either him or Paul Thomas Anderson.
Mm.
Paul Thomas Anderson has a lot of Kubrick in him.
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't seen a lot of his movies.
So,
Um,
oh well, you should. They're really good.
yeah, I only seen Licorice Pizza, and I wasn't impressed.
Oh, that's not even remotely the best one.
Yeah.
No, you got to go see some of the really like I enjoyed Licorice Pizza.
Mhm.
It was like a fun sort of hangout movie, but like he's made like stuff like There Will Be Blood and The
Mhm.
Master and Phantom Thread. Oh, those are the ones to watch. Or Magnolia,
Drink your milkshake.
Boogie Nights.
I'll drink
Boogie
it right
Nights is
now.
awesome.
Sorry, I like that. I like that. Um, but anyways, you ready to move on to MI7?
Sure.
All right. So, what was your overall thoughts about New Mission Impossible?
Okay. So this was the movie I was the most pumped for, and I really liked it. I didn't like it as much as I liked the last couple.
Mhm.
Like Rogue Nation and Fallout were both like just absolute top
Okay.
tier action thrillers. I thought this one, it's too long.
Really? I
It
don't
goes
agree with you.
on.
It
I
didn't feel
think
like
there's a lot of the middle section where I was not very engaged with it. The beginning of it I loved. The ending, the climactic action scene is
oh
absolutely
yeah,
one of
I'm
the best
saying.
things ever done in the franchise. Absolutely, you know,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
awesome.
no notes. But it just it had some parts that dragged for me,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to fault it too much. I know it's part one of two, so we'll see where they're going with part
Yeah.
two. So,
Yeah. I gotta say, it's probably my third favorite of the Mission movies.
okay,
Yeah, because I'm gonna go Ghost Protocol #1, and that was the first one I ever saw, and I saw that in
I
theater.
really like that one too. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I was just blown away by that. So I don't think anything's gonna top that. Plus I think that was like the first one where they really sold it on, hey, look at Tom Cruise do this crazy ass thing.
yeah,
And he
yeah. That's when it started. Yep.
yeah, and he done that throughout the whole entire series, but that's the one where they really sold it on that.
Yeah, it's like he's
Um,
climbing the tallest building in the world.
yeah. And I didn't realize it was based off a TV show until I
Oh
said,
yeah, it's like an old like from the '60s. Yeah,
yeah, because I went with my grandma and grandfather, and I remember I think my grandma went to go get snacks or go to use the bathroom, and then I was with my grandpa, and I told him that I'm really excited to see this movie because but I haven't seen the other ones, and he said, "Oh yeah, I used to watch the show like back in the day." I'm like, "Wait, it was a show?"
yeah.
Yeah,
And
'cause,
it's not really the movie series is not really based on the show
mm,
because Tom Cruise's character Ethan Hunt is not a character from the show.
yeah, well, kind of the
He,
first one because then
yeah,
it Phelps, and it wasn't Phelps in the show.
Phelps. Yes,
Yeah.
Phelps was the main character of the show, and
Mhm.
then they did a little twist with the first movie by making him the villain.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
So
the first one, I love seeing Krendic come back in this one.
yeah, he's a fun presence. I really like that
Yeah.
actor.
And he didn't age a day. That man, he did
No,
not.
he looks the same.
He looked exactly the same.
30 almost 30 years later, he looks the
And
same.
I didn't even catch that like the government guy at the beginning of this movie was Carrie Elways. I did not catch that.
Oh, I'm always like my Carrie Elwes radar just goes off. I'm like,
Oh
hey, it's Wesley.
yeah, from that Princess Bride, right? That was his character.
Princess Bride.
Yeah. Um.
Which you know what? Actually, I don't think that was the first thing I saw him in though. I think the first thing I ever saw him in was Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah. Unlike the other Robin Hoods, I speak with a British accent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that when making fun of Kevin Conroy or Costner.
Yeah.
Wrong Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Kevin
always,
Costner.
I always get Costner and Conroy mixed up.
That's a weird thing to get mixed up.
Well, because they're both the first name is Kevin, and then
Yes, I know, but one of them is the voice of Batman, and the other one is the guy in all the baseball movies.
I
They're not the same at all.
know, but to me, Hey, this is coming from the same guy that used to get Bill Murray and Tom Hanks confused.
What?
I don't know why.
That's super weird.
I don't know why. But anyway, I really enjoyed MI7. Oh, and then Fallout's number two, by the way.
Fallout is just
Yeah,
kind of a masterpiece. I
yeah.
think I might like Rogue Nation a little bit more than
I wasn't
Fallout,
I wasn't
but
crazy about
that's just
Rogue Nation.
because I'm really into Ilsa Faust. So of course this movie made me sort of sad.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're going spoilers. Spoilers. No
Yeah,
spoilers,
I
Drew.
thought that's what we were doing. I thought we were doing spoilers.
Sorry, I was mocking you there for a second.
Okay.
I was mocking you, mocking me about the whole spoiler thing about Ted Lasso. Tell the whole thing
Oh, okay.
on Facebook, if you remember.
Oh yeah, because I am somebody that like I don't really care that much about spoilers because I'm probably gonna forget that I heard it
Oh,
anyway, and then I'll still be surprised when I see the thing later.
yeah.
Anyway.
Dude, I figured out that Stewie was gonna die in Scream 5. And the reason why I figured that out was I got it freaking spoiled for me because I didn't see it
Oh
because I had some stuff going on. And
yeah.
I saw a YouTube video, and it said Jill gets revenge on Amber. And I'm like, okay, I guess Amber is one of the Ghostface killers. And so then next week I sat down in the theater and I pieced it all together. Guess who Amber is one of the Ghostface killers, and she's the one that kills Dewey. Or she has to kill Dewey
Yeah.
to kill Gale. So it was not surprising to me at all. And that movie pissed me off.
I mean, I wasn't really surprised. I
Well,
didn't get
not
it
either, but
spoiled,
it wasn't
but
nice.
I'm like, Dewey has almost gotten killed in every single entry of the franchise. It's like, you gotta finally kill him off.
Mm.
Even so, when the scene started, I immediately saw where the scene was going and got very upset.
It was so. I mean, I didn't mind that he died because
It's so sad.
well, I mean, it was sad. I'm not saying it wasn't sad, but I'm just saying it was so stupid. The phone went off.
Well, I mean, as soon as he gets back out of the elevator, I was like, I literally was sitting in a crowded theater next to two strangers on either side of me
Mm.
because I went by myself. And as soon as he got out of the elevator, I out loud put my hand to my face and goes, "Oh my God, they're gonna kill Dewey!" And
Yeah,
then I became a wreck
yeah,
because
it was
I
kind
was
of
just
weird.
I knew it was gonna happen, but I was not ready to see it happen.
Yeah, but anyway, back to Mission Impossible 7.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I love the whole opening scene with the Russian submarine where they kind of
That was cool. That was
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, when they showed you like how like scary and intimidating the entity could be.
Yeah.
And then you had a whole scene with Elsa and Ethan like in some sort of desert, and they're taking out guys left and right.
Yeah.
And then um I think only three. This is one of three scenes that left me completely on my edge of my seat when those government people are talking about the entity and what it could do, and it keeps coming back to that one creepy looking
The
dude.
one guy that's standing in the back. Yeah.
I seriously thought that was an android of some sort that this AI entity made. I did
They
not. Really
After they cut to him like the third or fourth time, I was like, "That's Ethan."
Oh,
I knew
really?
it. I knew it. I was like, "That's Ethan. He's wearing a mask."
Really? I did not. Because those matches are so gosh darn good that like
Yeah.
I did not suspect that it was Ethan. I thought it was an android.
Oh, I as soon as they kept cutting back to him, I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
that's Ethan.
Yeah,
He's
that's
in here. He's in here to talk to this one guy."
Kindred.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're not alone in that assessment. Like I think a lot of people
well,
got
because I've been watching these movies for 25 years or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm just always waiting for them to pull off their mask.
Yeah, well, I knew because they're doing the whole AI thing, so I just thought that it was like some sort of android or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
I
on the
did love I did love that the villain in this movie is the AI.
hmm
That was a really cool trick because it's like, okay, we've had a rogue terrorist in every single movie. They're gonna make Ethan Hunt's government turn against him. Whatever. The plots of these movies almost don't matter.
It's like the James Bond movie.
But
It's like if you think about almost every espionage movie, the plot does not matter, or
it's the same. It's
villain
the
plan
same in every movie. Yeah.
to take over.
But I liked that in this one, at least there was some sort of like novelty to
Mm.
the villain. And also, you know what bothers me more than a nuclear bomb? AI.
Yeah.
It is getting way too sophisticated. It's still not on the level of sophistication that we see in the movies,
Mm.
but they are trying. They are trying so very hard to get it there.
Yeah,
And I am not happy about it.
it's so weird to think that all this stuff we see in sci-fi movies like Terminator or like The Purge or 1984 like are just fantasy. Now there's
Yeah, but that's
um
what sci-fi does. It predicts the future and it's never good.
yeah, the
Have you
handmade.
noticed that? It's never good.
Yeah, like I just listened to a thing on the news source, the Young Turks, where like Texas um are getting rid of or like 28 schools in Texas are getting rid of librarians and then like replacing like libraries with like detention halls or whatever. I'm like, then you're taking away knowledge from children while doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're slowly dumbing down like a 1984 or a Handmaid's Tale kind of situation. Like it's crazy. But I
Well,
don't want to get too deep in that hole rabbit
I
hole.
mean, to bring it back to something that we both care about, like it's one of the reasons that all the writers and actors are on strike right now
Mm,
because they don't want to be replaced with AI. Because
yeah.
believe me, the second the studios think we can make an entire movie with just AI, I mean, there was the Black Mirror episode about
Mm.
it. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I only seen one
Um,
episode of that show. I watch more of it.
oh, okay. Well, there in the newest season, there's an episode about like AI entertainment,
Okay.
and it's a really funny episode, but it's also like, oh no, this is not good. This is very scary because this
It's
is
very
going to lead to a
harrowing.
bunch of people possibly losing their jobs, and it's gonna cause like a sort of economic and social collapse
Yeah, I hope
because we're
that
not
does.
going to be able to trust what we see anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, I hope that does not happen. I mean, it's
Me too.
yeah. I mean, I'm about 50-50 about if it could happen or not. I don't know. I just
Well, I can tell you this: whether or not it could happen, believe me, believe you me, people are trying to make it happen.
yeah. No, I have no doubt that people are trying to make it happen. It's just I'm just thinking like if there's going to be enough like resistance towards it from the people that is going to affect, and then people like
Well,
you that love movies and want to see quality movies.
yeah. Well, that's why support the writers and the actors
Yeah.
because they're fighting on the front lines of this battle right now.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
yeah, I really hope it didn't get to that point because that's gonna suck.
yeah,
But
I was watching one more thing about that. Are you familiar with a YouTuber named Patrick Willems?
oh yeah, you told me about him. I've watched him before I met you.
Okay, well, his latest video is all about this,
Okay.
about like AI imagery in filmmaking. And specifically, he's talking about like, have you seen those like Wes Anderson parody videos where it's like
Mm,
Wes Anderson's Lord of the Rings, Wes
right.
Anderson's
Yeah, I
Star
think.
Wars? Yeah, so he's doing like kind of a deep dive into the behind the scenes of what's going on with those, and
Mm.
it's like it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's some scary stuff, man.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. What else? What was I gonna say? I mean, if worse comes to worse, like we'll probably. I mean, it probably. I probably just have enough. I'll probably have. There'll probably be no quality movies or new quality movies coming out.
Yeah.
For the
There's
point.
plenty of old movies to
Yeah,
watch, so
yeah,
we're
that's
fine.
all I'm gonna say. Or
Yep.
it could get so bad, and I'm hearing this a lot that because I mean you also have like the overabundance of CGI and there's effect artists, being overworked. Maybe this will be the next rise of like independent film.
I mean, I'd be cool with that. I love
Yeah,
me some independent film. They make some of my favorite movies, so you
yeah. Like
know.
one of my favorite movies of all time is Pulp Fiction, and that was like an indie darling.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And plus like Everything Everywhere won the Oscar, and that's a weird.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that was a relatively low budget
Mm.
like independent film. A24 is like they do some good stuff.
They're on the forefront of independent.
Hmm.
Oh, and they got that new one that came out. Talk to me with I want to see.
I have got to go see that this week. I'm very intrigued. I've heard nothing but good
I
things.
mean, I want to see it, but like I know they have a reputation, and I saw Hereditary freaked the crap out of me. And if Hereditary does
Yeah,
well,
when they do horror, they go hard. That's what
yeah,
I like about them. They
I
go
mean
hard.
sometimes they're. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of A24, but like some of their horror stuff isn't too scary. Like X wasn't too bad.
No, that's more of like a fun like slasher movie.
Yeah, like even Pearl like was a lot more serious than X, but like
Yeah, but that also has like a sort of old timey
mm,
musical quality to it.
yeah,
So
that wasn't like nightmare fuel or anything like that.
yeah. But did you see Men?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh.
Is it freaky?
It's real freaky.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So anyway.
But anyways, yeah, MI7 was really cool. I liked how they introduced Haley Atwell's character.
She's great. She's so
Yeah,
great. I loved her.
yeah. The only thing that kind of bugged me about that was the fact that she disguised herself as the White Widow, and like her eye color didn't even change at all, and it was a little awkward, and nobody suspected that it was a completely different person.
Yeah, that's what they do in these movies, though. They do the most outlandish disguises. You just kind of accept it. It's just, suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that like when Ethan Hunt became Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in 3, like he actually did everything he could to actually become that character.
Yeah.
So it was just I don't know.
I will say, I think the chemistry between Haley Atwell and Tom Cruise is absolutely electric.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, love me some Ilsa Faust, and they had great chemistry too, but it's nowhere near on the level as what's going on between Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell.
Yeah, I'll tell you what was really confusing me. Um, I thought every time, because I knew Haley Atwell was in here, but like some of the shots in the trailer, I thought it was still Monogam's character, and so,
Oh, okay.
so I expected her to be here, and then I was kind of disappointed that she wasn't. But Haley was cool too. It was cool to
Yeah.
have her in the mix. Agent Carter.
Yeah. She's super fun, super like charismatic as an actor.
Oh yeah, that car chase scene was amazing. And then you have
Oh, loved it. Yeah, loved it.
yeah, what was Mantis from Guardians 3.
Yes, Palm Clementif. Yeah,
What
she
was
was
her
a fun
character name?
character.
What
I
was her
can't remember the I can't remember the name of the character in the movie.
Okay, I'm gonna look it
Uh,
up. You can keep talking if you want.
but yeah, the actor's name is Palm Clementif, and it was I don't think this is like probably the first time I've seen her outside of a Marvel movie
Mm,
because I can't recall seeing her in anything else. But she's got a great screen presence. I love her.
right.
She seems very dangerous,
Mm.
which yeah.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me a bit of Xenia on the top or like Joker.
Who?
Xenia on the top from GoldenEye.
I've never seen Goldeneye.
Oh, GoldenEye is great. It's one of my favorite Bond movies.
Okay,
Yeah, I know
I've never seen
you're
it.
not a big Bond fan.
I'm not a big Bond. I've seen all the Daniel Craig ones, and
Mm.
I've seen like one or two of the Pierce Brosnan ones, and then I've just seen like parts of some of the other ones, but
Yeah.
I've never watched. Like
Paris
they're
is that
just not
character,
appealing
by
to
the
me.
way.
Oh, Paris. Okay.
Yeah, Paris. I knew it was something weird. Or something not weird, but something unique.
Well, I think Pomme Clementif is French,
Is he?
so that's. I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let me look that up. I'm curious now. Is she French?
Yeah, no, she was really good. And she was like one of the first, like, I guess, like,
Yes, she is. She is French.
okay. Yeah, she was kind of like, that character was like one of the first, um, like iconic henchman character or memorable henchman character in these missions.
Yeah,
On the level of like Jaws or Odd Job from Double
yeah.
Ocean.
Well, I mean, the main villain of Fallout, like he started as a henchman, right? In one of them,
Yeah,
like what's his the
Henry
guy?
Cavill.
Sean Harris is the actor's name. The guy
Oh,
with the red beard with the like really deep, like gravelly voice.
I don't think he was in the other. Cause he was in. You're talking
Now
about,
he's been in a couple of them, but I
Lane.
think he was like a henchman the first time he appeared, and then maybe he wasn't really a henchman. Maybe he was just pretending to be one, and then it turned out that he was actually kind of the mastermind. But I don't know. Like I said, the plots of these movies they're just a whiff.
Hmm. Oh no, I think I know you're talking about. It was the character Solomon Lane.
Solomon Lane, yes, that
Yeah,
guy.
I think in the Rogue Nation he found out that he was part of MI6.
Okay,
He didn't like how things were run, so like he went rogue,
okay,
part of the syndicate.
yes, okay,
I'm not a big fan of Rogue Nation. I mean, it was cool. The airplane scene was awesome. The Opera House scene was awesome.
yeah,
The underwater scene was awesome. But I think like they kind of like did all the cool stuff in the beginning, and like the last climactic action scene was kind of lackluster. Was
yeah.
uneventful.
Now that I think about it, I don't even remember what the last action scene was.
It was
Oh, it was
basically
more like a foot chase. It was more like a cat and mouse kind of thing. It
yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, it didn't have like a big action scene. It was
yeah. I don't
more
remember that
like
either,
suspense kind of thing.
but like they ended up kidnapping Benji.
Yes,
Yeah, I love Benji. He's like my favorite character.
Benji's great.
Yeah, I mean it's Tom Penn
Yeah, put Simon Pegg in
or
everything.
Simon Pegg.
I'd be happy.
Tom
Yeah,
Penn.
put him in everything. I'd be happy with it.
But oh, I really like that fight between Gabriel and Rebecca Ferguson's character in MI7 in
Hmm.
Venice, and that shot when they were on that little bridge thing. That was pretty sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. And then of course the train scene was awesome. I thought that was
the train scene is like that's why we go see these movies. You
yeah.
know, everything from the helicopter jump into the parachute into the whole like
Mm.
the bridge and oh gosh, it's just like one thing after another. The suspense is great, the action's great. Um,
Yeah, for
when
sure.
they're on like I guess they're not tables, they're like
Mm.
columns because they're sideways or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the other scene that like looking on the MSG. It was that when Ethan was in the mask at the beginning, in that room with the government people, and then the thing with the Russian submarine. Like those like the three moment, the three scene that really left me out, that really left me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for part two for the of this. This should be pretty interesting. Whenever that would come out, 'cause I don't know because everything's
Well,
on.
we don't know because now that all the actors have gone on strike, I don't know if they got it all shot.
Yeah. Well, I don't think actors can promote movies even if they're complete.
No, they can't.
Yeah. Can directors and promote movies?
They can, but it probably wouldn't. So it might be 2 years
Yeah.
before we get the next one. It
Yeah.
was
So I
supposed
think,
to be next year, but with everything that's going on,
yeah.
we
So I
don't know
think
what's next year is going to look like.
yeah. So I think Barbie and Oppenheimer might be the last two big movies.
Yeah, there might be a couple things left this year. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, I guess this will lead us to our next topic, which is the Exorcist Believer trailer. I don't know if they're going to release. They might. They might.
Yeah, they're already rearranging their slates. They're pushing a bunch of stuff back to next year.
I mean, I feel like they might.
So who knows?
Because like, if a director can like promote it,
Well,
I
but
feel like
it's not a the thing about that movie is it's not an actor, it's not like a star driven movie.
oh yeah, that's true too.
I mean, the only really star in the movie is Ellen Burstyn, and she hasn't been a big star in years.
Yeah.
So
Do you think Linda What's her face is gonna show up?
Linda Blair,
Really?
yeah, I think it's a possibility. I think that
Hmm.
is one of the things that they probably wouldn't show you in the trailers, but who
Hmm.
knows? Maybe the character of Reagan, who knows what happened to her. I
Yeah.
mean, they did make a sequel, but they're ignoring that.
Hmm.
So maybe she's dead. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll talk about the Exorcist Believer trailer. I'll tell you my funny story or my awesome
Okay.
story. So usually when it comes to trailer now for big movies nowadays, literally three things will happen, and this might happen to you too. Um, but either I've already seen the trailer
Yeah.
before I've seen it in theaters in front of whatever movie I'm gonna go see.
Yeah.
I know the trailer's out there, but I haven't seen it yet.
Hmm.
Or they haven't released the trailer, but they announced that they're going to release it in front of a particular movie.
Hmm.
None of those three things happen.
Yeah. No, I was completely surprised, and it was still like halfway into the trailer before I realized what trailer I was watching.
Yeah, yeah. When that little girl slams her hand on the hospital room window, and then it starts playing the doo doo doo. I'm like, wait, that sounds like The Exorcist, and it keeps going. And you hear a little bit more of the doo 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 doo.
Yeah.
Wait, it is The Exorcist, and then the mom shows up, and then they really do the
Yeah. I don't think I realized what I was watching until Ellen Burstyn showed up in the trailer
yeah.
because I knew the movie was coming out.
Mm,
I had forgotten about it completely.
yeah.
And, it just, I, for the first half of the trailer or whatever, I was just like, okay, it's a horror movie,
Mm.
Blumhouse, so it's probably okay. Yeah.
I'm looking
And
forward
then
to it.
she showed up, and I was like, oh, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie. I'm not a huge fan of the original Exorcist.
See, I am. I love that movie.
Yeah, I definitely respect the hell out of it. It's not in my top 10 horror movie. It's probably more my top 25 maybe. Like, and
Oh, it's
honestly,
top two for me.
oh really? What's your number one?
It's either it goes back and forth between The Exorcist and the original Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, really? You're a Texas Chainsaw?
So I love the first one.
Yeah. I don't. I
All
can't.
the rest of them I can take or leave.
I don't love those. I cannot get into those real exploitative like 70s horror movies like Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw Massacre or like Hills Have Eyes, where it's like real exploitative.
yeah.
I can't get into that.
They're not easy to watch, but I just really particularly love that one because
Mm.
I think it does the exploitative thing, yes, but the way it does it is more like cinematically gorgeous to me, I
Yeah,
guess.
I mean, it's a good
I,
movie.
I love the way I love the way it's shot. I love the way it's edited.
Mm.
I just like how it's presented, regardless of the story that's going on. It's just it's I find it very effective,
Yeah,
and I just love it.
yeah, I think maybe compared to a lot of other like 70s horror movies and that thing, that's like the least one of the least egregious. But this movie's like that. I just can't do when
Fair
just,
enough.
yeah, when just people basically getting violated or getting humiliated and all that stuff. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Too much for me.
yeah. It's not easy to watch.
But no, I would have to say Exorcist, in my opinion, is the greatest horror movie of all time. It's the Godfather of horror movies because I don't think any other horror movie in the world has this much impact than the original Exorcist. Like you ask,
Probably not. No,
yeah, just about
no. It
anybody,
was.
almost anybody, they'll almost will not maybe not their number one scariest movie, but it will be in the conversation for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like to me, like my mom will not watch this movie anymore. That's how much it scared her, and she's probably not going to watch the new one.
yeah. And it's one of those that, like, I don't even find it particularly scary. I find it to be more effective as a drama
Hmm.
than as a
Oh
horror
yeah.
movie. And I
Well,
love it on that level. I love it as a horror movie too. I think it's
hmm,
doing all of that really well. But the reason I love it so much is because I find it so effective as like a character drama.
right.
And so for that reason, I'm a little
Hmm.
skeptical. No, not skeptical, cautious
Hmm.
about this new one. Now, it's David Gordon Green,
Hmm.
and I do really love his Halloween trilogy. So I've got that on my brain too.
I
So
love the first two that he did. The third one, I appreciate some of the stuff he did with especially with Corey Cunningham. I just need to watch it a couple more times to really kind of.
I really liked it.
It's fine. I mean, he went for a swing, and I can't,
It is
but
really a swing, and that's part of why I like it so much.
yeah,
So,
I can't knock an artist for taking the big string like that too much.
yeah, so when you come to him doing the same sort of thing with The Exorcist,
Mm,
I'm cautious, but I hope that he is putting in a similar level of thought and care into this.
right, and it seems like he is.
I
Um,
would think so, but that dude's made some stinkers.
yeah, yeah. I think he will. I think he's gonna put some effort. Cause I watched like the first like 20 minutes of the original one the other day,
Yeah.
and it's a solid movie. Like, and I think
Yeah.
in watching back at this one, like on the trailer for this new one, like I can see like different like thoughts or different homages, like the way that like William
Hmm.
Friedkin filmed the original one, like almost documentary style. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
add that kind of flair to it.
I am interested in the fact that it seems to have sort of a different setting and
Mhm.
that it's two girls in this one.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of
That makes it sort of interesting to me.
the only thing I think is not gonna right it's gonna hurt it was is the fact that we've seen possession movies over
Yeah, so
over and
many
over.
possession movies. Yeah.
And even if you haven't seen a possession movie, you've seen a trailer, either in the theater or on TV or whatever. Like you
Yeah.
know
So
how all this stuff goes.
so yeah, there has to be
Hold
some
on
sort
to
of core idea that he's getting
yeah.
uh to justify him doing this movie.
Right. Well, and then that's
Like
the
I think there was with his Halloween trilogy.
mm,
I feel like he had a pretty strong like emotional and thematic core. And if he does that with this one, then I'm all for it. I just hope he does it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing. I didn't think about that. I think my whole thing is going back to we've seen this kind of horror movie over and over again. When the first Exorcist came out back in 1973, because it's 50 years old now, believe it or
Yeah.
not. It nobody's seen anything like that. Like you
No,
literally were
not
not
even
allowed.
close.
You were not possessing in a movie at that point. And I
Yeah,
think,
no, that movie broke all the barriers. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like anytime you would deal with the devil, that a movie dealt with the devil or like kind of evil demon kind of stuff, it was always like tongue in cheek.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Or, it was always implied, like a Rosemary's Baby.
Hmm.
Like, you don't actually see her get raped
Yeah.
by Satan, but it's very much implied in this trippy.
I mean, you got to think Rosemary's Baby's only 5 years before, or no, seven, 66? 66.
Let me check.
So 7 years before The Exorcist. Because Exorcist is it 72 or 73? I always forget.
73, since it's 50.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Rosemary's Baby was 66. So it hadn't come out that much farther before. Is it 68?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Okay. So 5 years before.
Mm.
And yeah, it's a much tamer movie.
Mm.
Even as in recent history compared to The Exorcist.
I've only seen Rosemary Baby once, but it's really that part when the devil doing that thing.
Oh yeah,
at the end.
That's messed up.
Horror movie, but like
yeah,
Exorcist, the whole thing.
Yeah, Exorcist is relentless.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few parts where it kind of left up a little bit, but like I'm saying, like there's not like one big moment that it builds to. Like there's like several scenes, like it builds to it, and it gets worse and worse. I will say the original Exorcist has the most foul, evil line I've ever heard ever. It is regarding Father Karen's mother, and I don't want
Yes, I know the line you're talking about. Yes, I know.
Yeah, if you know the line, you know the line, and I hate that line so much because this is a man, and I guess we're talking more about the original Exorcist than the trailer for the new one.
Well, there's not much to say about the new one. I mean, we've seen the trailer, and we can only speculate on what the movie's going to be like. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But yeah, but the original Exorcist, you have Father Karras, who is starting to have doubt in his own faith.
Yeah.
Because his mother died. And he feels like God took her away from him.
Uh-huh.
And Pazuzu knows that.
Yeah.
And Pazuzu is using that against them by saying that evil line. And it's not even like just a simple insult towards her mom or towards his mom, his mother. It's a very sexual line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Stephen Vincent's hell in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so evil. And it's why it's so disgusting. And I'm honestly more shocked by stuff in older movies. I'm like, wait, you can say stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I watched Taxi Driver for the first time, and I'm like, wait, you can say stuff like that in the 70s? Like, there was another part where, in Taxi Driver, where Martin Scorsese was talking about, like, his character was saying, like, he wanted to do, like, horrible stuff to his wife. I'm like, oh my God, this is like 1970s something this movie came out.
Go read about like the 70s in Hollywood, and it was the Wild West back then.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm not a big 70s horror guy, but I definitely like me a 70s crime movie.
Yeah.
There's like a grittiness to it that I love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the movie like Taxi Driver and like French Connection and all that stuff.
Yeah.
With the another William freaking movie.
Yeah, French Connection. I mean, well, we've talked about this on the show before, like the car chase. They didn't even get permits to go out and shoot the car chase. William Friedkin himself got in
Mm,
the car with the camera and
yeah,
just drove through traffic
yeah, that's
like a
crazy.
crazy person. Like
He was
that's the kind of stuff that was going on back then.
well, I
You
don't
could never do that now.
yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I mean, you couldn't do the Exorcist now either.
Not quite the same. Well, we're going to see what they do with The Exorcist this year if
Well,
it comes out this year.
I doubt they're gonna have one of those little girls
I
things
I
like
doubt it too, but you
cross.
never can tell. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, that's
So,
another like one. I think that the thing with the cross, and then the thing that she says or the Zuzu says to Father Karras, I think are like the two most like shocking things in that movie, or most disturbing things in that movie.
oh, for sure. But the thing I love about that movie is that it has all this really disturbing, dark stuff. But then by the end, there is, I don't know what the word I want here. Uh,
There's victory.
Catharsis, I guess. Yeah, there's victory.
Yeah.
Like he finds in himself the will to do what is right to
Mm,
protect this little girl from this demon, and it's very powerful.
right. Actually,
So that's why I love that movie so much. Yeah.
I just found out last year that the actor that plays Father Karras was also the coach in Rudy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Jason
Huh.
Miller.
I haven't seen Rudy in so long.
I love Rudy.
But yeah,
Like,
okay.
well, I
Okay.
didn't
I'll have
know
to
how
go
much
watch Rudy again.
dude, that movie makes my mom cry.
I love Rudy, but I haven't seen it since I was probably in high
Yeah,
school or
I
maybe
freaking
college.
love Rudy. That's like in my top three favorite sports movies, like Rocky, Rudy, and Moneyball.
Okay.
And Rocky and Rudy are kind of the same sort of movie, but Moneyball is completely different. Like
Moneyball, yeah, that's a completely different thing.
yeah, if you ever work for a big corporation like I have, like Moneyball is so relatable.
Well, Moneyball's in that same spirit as movies like Social Network
Mm.
or oh, I mean, there's been a bunch of them this year. They had the Tetris movie, they had the BlackBerry movie,
Yeah, Air.
uh, Air, yeah, they had the Flaming Hot Cheetos movie.
I love to see a Nintendo movie. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I've seen some documentaries on the history of Nintendo,
Mm.
and there's some interesting stuff. It's just for one thing, it's crazy to think that that company's been around since the 1800s.
Yeah, they were a card company, like a
Yeah,
play.
they used to make cards, playing cards.
Yeah, well,
So that's
I don't know
that's the craziest
what
part.
only place you can get them, but I know you can get the original playing cards at the Nintendo World Store in New York.
Oh, okay.
Like that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one I would really love to see is I would love to see a movie about the Lemley family. The Carl,
Okay.
the person that
Yeah.
started Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to see that whole thing because I feel like, and this makes sense because the guy is the name of the company, but like Walt Disney or Disney will shove Walt down your throat,
Yeah.
which again makes sense because for one, his name is on the company, and two, um, it's been a Disney somebody in the Disney family has owned that company for decades. Unlike
Well,
Lim,
not anymore.
well, I'm just saying for a while.
for
Compared
a
to,
long time, there was always somebody named Disney on the board. Plus, you take into account that Walt put himself out there. Like
oh
he
yeah,
made himself the face of the company. You know, he had a television show and all this other stuff. So
yeah, you don't
it was
really get,
very intentional on his part.
yeah, you don't really get that, but it's Carl Laemmle.
No.
Like I feel like people that are into movies in the history of movies, of course, will know who Carl Laemmle is.
Yeah.
Um,
I know who he is. I
yeah,
don't know that much about him, but
I know quite
I've
a bit about him because I,
okay.
well, the whole
Because
reason,
you're into Universal Monsters.
yeah, well, the whole reason why I started this was I originally was doing a Universal Monster project, and that's kind of on pause now because we actually just moved.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I don't know when that's gonna pick up again. But yeah, but I learned a ton of stuff about the man.
Okay.
Yeah, well, even I'll send you a link to this, but they're just this one YouTube channel. It used to be called Universally Me, but now she just goes by her name, Antonia Carlotta, and
Uh
she's
huh.
actually the great grandniece of Carl Laemmle.
Oh, okay.
And her whole channel's about the history of Universal, and it's really interesting.
Hmm. I'll have to check that out. That sounds really good. I love that kind of stuff. I love all those YouTube channels that are like the history of theme parks and the
Yeah,
history of game shows and all this stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and it's cool that she's a relative of Carl Laemmle,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Yeah, I love Universal Studios. I don't know. I because like for one, they produced a lot of my favorite movies like Back to the Future and Jurassic Park.
Uh
And
huh.
second, like Steven Spielberg even got his start there. Like he used to sneak on the back lot.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just a big fan, and I love the theme park. I think it's way better than Disney in my opinion. But anyways, man, is there anything else you want to talk about while we're on here? We kind of went on for a while. Kind of went on.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what these videos are, isn't it? We
Yeah.
just ramble on until we get tired. That song is so weird because it's like this, like sort of bluesy sort of shuffle, and then you got it's got like lyrics about like Gollum and stuff.
Yeah, not the Duke Golem, Golem from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what was really interesting is you know, how I got into Universal Horror was my mom bought me the Wolfman um DVD because I dressed up as that character, for Halloween like a long time ago. And they had a
Yeah.
documentary about the Universal monsters, and they even talked about the Golem.
Huh.
Like
Okay.
the actual, like the creature in Jewish mythology,
Yes.
and how Carl Lumley, being a Jewish man, um I guess like really fell in love with the character of Frankenstein because it was very similar.
Sure. Yeah.
And what was funny about it was I remember I went to camp that summer, like church camp, and people. I remember I said in a conversation about Lord of the Rings, and somebody mentioned Gollum, and my first thought of Gollum was the Jewish folklore, not my precious. Yeah, it was weird. But I mean, people nowadays probably know that Gollum.
Yeah, I think that the Golem is probably not as well known anymore.
Yeah, they need to make a Gollum movie. Like
Even
another.
though it's you know what the probably the most they made a Golem movie. It's like a silent movie. I can't remember what it's called,
Yeah,
but you know what else it shows up in? Sort of
but
An American Tail,
oh,
because
the
they create the Mouse of Minsk. and
Oh,
that's based on the golem.
really?
Because Fievel Mouskowitz and his family are, they don't ever say it in the movie, but they're supposed to be Jewish mice from Russia. And
Yeah,
that's why they're fleeing to America, because of the pogroms. And of
right. I
course,
remember that.
so Fievel's dad tells him the story about the Mouse of Minsk. And that's supposed to be the sort of mouse version of the golem. So that's probably the most famous interpretation of that figure in pop culture,
I need to look that
is
up.
An American Tale.
Oh, and I also remember on the Spider-Man 3 commentary, that the cast and director commentary, I remember Thomas Hayden Church, who played Sandman, mentioned that Sam Raimi gave him a book about the Golem to kind of study
Oh, that
it
makes
out again.
sense. Yeah, because the golem is made of clay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that was the first time I found out about the Golem.
Okay.
To be honest. Yeah, but then you make another Golem movie. Bring that character back. It's
I'd be down to watch a golem movie.
yeah, yeah. Bring back because I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say there. It'll be
Eli Roth should make a golem movie.
oh, but I mean, I think what I was gonna say was it would be cool for people who are not familiar with that
Yeah.
story, um, to like kind of learn like another aspect or
Yeah.
like experience another aspect of the Jewish culture.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the Eli Roth, one of my favorite parts in Inglourious Bastards is when Brad Pitt is giving his speech about them killing Nazis, and he goes in this whole diatribe about him, you know, uh the Nazis will fear us, and the Nazis will have nightmares about us, and it just randomly cuts to Eli Roth's character, and he just like slowly smiles because he like
Yeah.
with the idea of like Nazis like having nightmares about, about them attacking them.
That movie's so great. I love it.
It's not my personal favorite Tarantino. That would have to be Pulp
It
Fiction.
might it might be mine. It might be mine. I really, really love that movie.
I mean, it's in my top three for sure. Like I think Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then Inglourious Bastard are my three favorite.
Yeah. Understandable. Those are all fantastic.
Yeah,
So.
and then the fact that Eli Roth had like a baseball bat, and then he just so much pleasure in just being the ever loving shit out of that Nazi dude,
Mm.
and he does like a baseball announcer voice as he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what me and Eric keep talking about. Like it's so easy to like watch Nazi
Yeah.
like get
Yeah. Nobody cares. Well, some people care. Those people are scary.
yeah. But now that movie's pretty crazy. But no, that whole speech that Brad Pitt gives in that movie, that's like my second favorite movie monologue of all time, right there.
Yeah.
I love that monologue. It's just so badass. Like like his character just when he first comes on the screen, like he just demands attention.
Yeah. Well, I think my favorite part of his performance in that movie is towards the end of the movie where he's pretending to be Italian and he just goes, grazie.
And then everybody else,
Because that's the only word he knows.
yeah, and then it's like everybody else is trying to be Italian, like feels Italian.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, the Jewish
He's
guy.
not even, yeah, he's not even, but Brad Pitt's not even attempting to use an Italian accent. He just
Yeah,
keeps
like
saying grazie.
yeah, like I said, Eli Roth, he's not even Italian, he's Jewish, feels more Italian. Brad,
Yeah, right.
yeah, that's an interesting movie out there. And it's one of the earlier roles of Daniel Bruhl and Michael Fassbender.
Oh, yeah, they are both in that. Yep. They have a very memorable scene in that movie. Yeah.
Michael Fassbender, I knew Daniel Bruhl played the soldier guy, that was eventually in that movie based off his life. Like in,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, when he's sniping like the American soldiers or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, even though that's a Nazi as a it's portrayed as the hero in that made up movie, that's actually a really well shot movie. Like fictional movie.
Yeah. Well, Eli Roth directed
Yeah,
that
yeah, and
sequence,
then they even made
so
like a fake behind the scenes documentary of that movie.
yeah. So
And it's so funny. That gotta be so weird for any of those actors playing those characters talking about like this great like Nazi character. Like that's gotta be like the most awkward thing ever.
well, that's the thing. When you're acting, you can't judge your characters. You just
Yeah.
have to play the truth of who they
Oh
are.
yeah, for sure.
That's how, because when you start judging your character, you're going to get a bad performance out of
Mhm.
it.
Oh
So if you're going to have a character that feels like a real person, which is the goal,
mhm,
you can't judge them. You have to do the best you can to figure out what their mindset is
mhm.
and play that. So
Yeah, for sure.
acting 101, y'all.
Yeah. I actually had the steelbook for that movie. I bought it during Black Friday.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't part of the Black Friday like deal, but I was already in Best Buy looking for some Black Friday stuff.
Yeah, if you see it, it's like, yes, I want that.
Yeah, yeah. I bought Where the Crawdaddies thing for my mom because she read that book in her book club.
I never saw that
It's
or
okay.
read it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't get what the
It
phenomenon.
made a lot of money. That was so weird.
Yeah, I just don't get what the
Like,
phenomenon was
I
about that.
just remember it was this little movie that I'd never heard of, and it wound up making a lot of money.
Yeah, I figured the book would be way better.
Who knows?
Yeah. And then I bought Poltergeist on 4K, the one that Reed and Nathan gave away during last Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I bought a copy of that. And they were both like less than $10 or $10.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I went to the steelbooks because I've been obsessing with steelbooks. Like I already bought the steelbook for Mission Impossible 7. Like I'm already pre-ordered it. That's how bad I am. I got a problem, Jackson. I'm steelbooks are the best.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. The steelbooks are the best, man. I love steelbooks.
They're cool. They're cool. They look cool on your shelf. They feel nice when you pull them off.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got one for Scream, the last Scream movie. I got one from The Batman. Well, that one I was an idiot and didn't pre-order the original one that they had
Mm.
at Best Buy, so they all sold out. And then they put out another one with a different design on it that I end up getting. So there's that. But anyways, guys, this video has been going on for long enough. I guess we can wrap this up now unless you want to say anything else.
No, I think I'm good. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Yeah. We barely talked about the Exorcist Believer trailer. We just talked about how great
There's not much to say about it yet. So we'll talk about the movie, when it finally comes out, whenever
honestly,
that's going to be.
I think that shot of that little girl putting like the page from the Bible in her mouth, that's gonna be the equivalent of the cross scene, I feel like.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not as shocking or vulgar.
No, not nearly.
Yeah. But anyways, if you like this episode and you want to see more spooky and weird content, make sure you slash that subscribe button and follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. And don't forget to leave this episode a killer comment and a King Kong size thumbs up. And I see you making fun of me, Jackson. You're making fun of my little hands. Yeah, I gotta make it entertaining for my audience, man. But anyways, guys, this has been Drew from Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. Bye. Oh.